we have the intro to the solo version of Girl From Ipanema. It's a lot like we would do with just playing a general backup to it. We have percussive effects, and this is going to happen on beats 2 and 4 when possible, sometimes not. Now, what we have here in the beginning is this F major 7, and I'm playing it with my thumb wrapped around, getting the F in the bass. We'll talk about, well, I'll talk about right now the way to do this. If you're not comfortable with the thumb wrap, you're playing it on nylon string guitar or whatever, you can play it with 4 fingers laid out like this. Your first finger on the F, second on the C, and the A, and the F like that. It's a little tougher to get to, but it'll work. And then for the intro, we're just going back and forth between F major 7 and G flat 7 by sliding the chord up a half step. But so pretty easy little change there. Once in a while I've got some open bass notes because the technique, if I were to play this quickly, a lot of times I would let go of the whole chord on the and of the last 4, and we'd end up with an open pickup note, an open D heading into the next measure. But this is a very loose thing, and everything I talk about here may not be exactly what I have in the music, as it's a lot of variables could happen here. But so as far as the intro goes, the basic kind of vamp with your right hand, grabbing everything on the first beat, and our thumb is going to be doing playing a bass note on 1 and the and of 2 and 3 and then the and of 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and many times, matter of fact, the way I've got the intro, I've always got the last bass note open because I'm on my way to the next chord, and so you'll hear this. Now that seems a little non-musical, but in the context of the song, it's going to sound fine to have that open D on the last beat. If it ends up being the note you've still got on, it's not that big a deal. So you don't have to take it off. It could be this. We would have already changed. Never mind. We want it to be open. Disregard that. Okay. So beat by beat, the other thing we're going to have in here is a couple of different percussive effects. Sometimes it's the whole hand going down on the strings, where my 3 fingers are going to the strings they're about to grab. They only make a little bit of the noise. Usually, many times the biggest noise in this case is made by your thumb hitting the 6th string, maybe the 5th. Just kind of depends on where you're going. Most of the time we're going to be hitting the 6th string in the bass. And it's your thumb hitting the 6th string into the frets. So if we always put our hand down on beats 2 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we're getting that effect, particularly here. It happens in the first 3 measures. It's going to happen. Well, in the first measure, it's going to only happen on beat 4. Now, right there, I kind of put my thumb down on a higher string, really on the 4th string, but still got the effect of this because I'm getting the 6th string right there with the side of my thumb. So in the first measure, we've got that percussive effect on beat 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then come in with that open D. We're going to slide the whole chord up, and this time we're going to start with a pair of 8th notes. And come in with the click on beat 2. And a little up there with my index finger on the and of 3. And then another percussive slap on 4. So, I believe it's really just a repeat. The first 2 measures are then the same as the second 2 measures. So we're only talking about 2 measures in here, but we want to establish that feel of the alternate bass note on the and preceding the main bass note. In Bossa Nova, as we talked about earlier in the lesson, you basically hear the main bass note played as half notes on beats 1 and 3, but I'm throwing a pickup in on the and just before each of those in this case. Okay, if you're left hand, if you can't play the thumb wrap, it's not really any big deal. You can, here's this exact same thing played with all 4 fingers, because all I'm doing is sliding up and back. Now, in the interest of taking the hand off, to get the last D and the percussion hit, when I go back to grab the first beat of the chord, I'm not worrying about my little finger. So this is an pretty easy chord to grab with just your first, second, and third fingers. And it's not too difficult to put that down later. If I needed that on the first beat, it would be a little bit tougher to slap the whole thing down. So make sure you're not trying to get the second bass note down on the first beat of each measure. Right there, I don't have it yet. So just practice that first before we start working in the melody. And again, up to real speed, we'll have something like this. And then we're going to head into the melody with the high G added to our F major 7 chord. Okay, so there you have the intro and kind of the beginning part of getting this percussive slap on beats 2 and 4. We'll take a look at section A in the next segment.